I seen how people was mad over the rehydration clause in order for you to fight Devin Haney.
Going up all the way to 147, and I'm not even a real 47. I'm nowhere
Because
near that.
every interview this guy do, he contradict himself. 1 minute he willing to fight Devin Haney immediately. The next minute he willing to fight Devin Haney only if it's a rehydration clause. What make you think that you get to dictate them terms? You would come into that fight with less accolades, having beat a Teofimo Lopez who had already been beaten already and dropped. I'm just confused, where this A-side thing coming from. And, if you fought Devin Haney, you would be the B-side. It don't matter what type of performance you put on against Teofimo Lopez. Wrong. Him beating Teofimo Lopez is a hell of an accomplishment, right? But, again, we got to understand, this is a guy who's been dropped before. This is a guy who's, the last few fights have been really lackluster performances. He fights down to the level of competition. He doesn't supersede the level of his competition, at least recently. He been having some iffy bouts, some close bouts, some bouts where he's not looking the same that he was when he was at his best. So it's important to understand that this here, right? Moving from a Teofimo Lopez to a Devin Haney is a totally different move. Not just in weight, in skill set. Now Devin Haney has gotten stronger. He's gotten his confidence back. He feeling better. His body has filled out now at 147 pounds. So now, even though he's accomplished so much in the sport, now we'll finally be seeing the best Devin Haney. Just heard him admit it. He just admitted it. That him at 147, that's not something that he comfortable doing. That's not something that he's willing to do unless, he got some type of advantage. Right? And, we live in a day and age where, especially with Crawford, he introduced another form of this as of recently. Guys want to beat guys at their best, at their most comfortable weight, so that when they do beat them, they get all the bragging rights. It's not no complaints. It's not no, well, he had to drop in weight to do it. That's why he won. And I would feel more comfortable if a guy like Shakur Stevenson, got on here and started talking, even if he ain't believe it. You got to fake it till you make. Get on here, yeah, I'm willing to fight him at the weight that he most comfortable at, because if I beat him, it's going to look better for me. But instead, he takes the opposite route. He need a rehydration clause. He need Devin Haney to fight another tough fight first. He need Devin Haney to come in, but he can't drink no Pedialyte. He can only drink Gatorade. This sounds like some sucker shit to me. You adding on there that you won't fight Keyshawn Davis because he your friend. What's next? You ain't gonna fight another guy because he too tall? He too big? He too wide? You don't fight guys with dreads? What it is, right? We just want to see you get in there and fight. We don't care how much money you making, buddy. Right? We care how much money you making, buddy, when you give us a good fight that's worth paying for. But aside from this Teofimo Lopez fight, if you drop down to 35 and you fight anybody that's not Tank, you bullshit.